I just thought to myself, I can't do this anymore. You know, I'm mid-40s, I'm just going round and round and round. Whatever job I've had, I've enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. Never thought I would have anything to do with property because of course you've got to have a fortune to have any second property, especially nowadays. Found out that actually you don't need to own a property, do you? You can do it a different way, which I think a lot of people think.
You hold the record for the fastest deal in the academy. I think it was like 1 week or 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all.
So quick.
Yeah, it's better just to have a go with no experience and just give it a go rather than sit there. I could have sat there for another 5 years researching and I'd still be sat there now. I wouldn't have done it. So I think take chances. That's not silly chances. You've got to be, you know, not risks that are...
Calculated risks.
That's it. That's the word. Yeah, that's the corporate word.
All right, guys, so we are here in Haworth, West Yorkshire, and we've got Michelle, our lovely mentee. So, Michelle, you started in the academy a year ago.
Yes.
Or just about.
Yeah, just coming up. Yeah.
And we're in June 2026, just for reference. So, yeah, talk us through where you were at before you joined the academy, the job that you were in, where your life was. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I was in a corporate job, not necessarily 9 to 5 because, you know, it was flexi time, but it was still, you know, Monday to Friday every week. I did enjoy the job, don't get me wrong, it was fine, but it wasn't something that I could see myself doing forever. And I just wanted something new. I wanted a change, a challenge, but I didn't know what. Property is something that I've always been interested in, watching Homes Under the Hammer and everything like that. I love things like that. Not until recently. I did. Funnily enough, I don't know why I started watching that. But yeah, I sort of like always sort of liked looking at interiors and other people's properties. To be honest, you know, like on Rightmove and everything like that. But never thought I would have anything to do with property because of course you've got to have a fortune to have any second property, especially nowadays. So I came across you guys on Instagram and I just thought, oh, it's worth a conversation. So that's how I started. And then I had a conversation with you guys and found out that actually you don't need to own a property, do you? You can do it a different way, which I think a lot of people think is a bit strange, really, and I don't think they think it's legal, do they? Which is another thing. But I had a conversation with you guys, and I thought, I'll try this rent to rent thing.
You'd never heard of rent to rent until we started chatting?
No, I didn't. I mean, obviously I knew people could rent properties, but I didn't know then you could then rent it to somebody else because of course you hear that word subletting, don't you? And you think, oh, I can't do that. And I also didn't realise that, you know, you could set up a company so simply, really, as well. Until I met you guys, I hadn't even heard of it. I hadn't even thought about it. So it was kind of a completely different scenario to what I've been in before.
Did you know you wanted a business then? Was that the plan? Like, what was the plan back then? Why did you start? Well, why did we have the conversation to begin with?
Yeah, so I always knew I wanted to do something myself, and everybody has days at work where they think, oh, I've had enough of this. I want to do something for myself. But it was actually, I think last June, maybe a little bit earlier, where I just thought to myself, I can't do this anymore. You know, I'm mid-40s. I'm just going round and round and round. Whatever job I've had, I've enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. But you get to that point where you just don't move any further and you're working for somebody else, which is fine. But, you know, you're limited to, you know, times, and yes, you can get flexi time nowadays, which is great, but you're still under somebody else's schedule, aren't you? It's not your own schedule. And I just thought, I knew I wanted to do something for myself, but it's having the money to start it, and most businesses take a lot of funds to start, don't they? And you know, whilst this one, you know, it's not that it doesn't take any money, but it's not the substantial amount that a lot of businesses you have to fund to get going, to even get your foot in the door, kind of thing. So
absolutely. Speaking of getting your foot in the door, so you join the academy. We get the business set up, we get everything else set up, and then we're straight into landlord outreach, right? And you know, a lot of people are scared of landlord outreach because it's rejection. No one likes being rejected. I understand that. Talk us through how you went about landlord outreach. What happened?
Okay, so I'm quite a nervous person anyway. I overthink everything. I don't have any confidence. Well, I don't have a lot of confidence. I have gained a bit of confidence, and people have told me to have confidence in myself because I can do things, but it's not something that I excel in. So I remember ringing the estate agency with your script, and I remember.
By the way, this was the first phone call, right?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, it was my daughter that had seen a property in Haworth and said, "Oh, that looks pretty good, Mum. You know, why don't you try that one?" And then I remember saying to you guys, "Oh, is this all right? What do you think? What do you think?"
Yeah, that was before you even. I'm sure it's before you set the business up because you'd seen it for our first onboarding call.
Yes, that's right.
And you're like, "What about this?" And we were like, "This is unbelievable."
yeah, it just looked really nice. It was like this could work. So yeah, I rang up and I think I literally set the company up. I think literally a day or two before. So I was like reading this script saying, "Oh, you know, this is my company and I'd like to rent this property, but I'm not a tenant. I'll be doing it as a company let." And I was going through this script, just sort of like almost reading it sort of word for word, sort of saying, you know, it would be in the landlord's best interest because obviously we'll be looking after the property, etc., etc. And you know what? At that time, I kind of understood it, but I didn't, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Whereas obviously now, fast forward, I completely understand why it's so much better for landlords to have people like us in, because we do care about the property, we do keep up to it and everything else. But at that time I was reading this script thinking, and I could feel my heart racing. Anyway, the lad on the other end of the phone was like, "Well, you know, the landlord has run it as an Airbnb previously, and I really don't think he's interested in doing that now. I think he just wants a tenant." And I was like, "Okay, that's absolutely fine." But I said, "Would you just mind putting it to him and just seeing if he's open to a conversation?" And he was. And I think I literally signed up. I can't even remember. It was very quick, wasn't it? I think it was like...
you hold the record for the fastest deal in the academy. I think it was like 1 week or 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all.
So quick.
Yeah. Because I remember at the time, obviously, I was working full time, and I remember sort of like in my breaks and in my lunch hours, kind of just like reading through this contract and then thinking, going to you guys, "What about this part? What about this part? Send it back." And we just kept going back. And then, it just feels a bit like a dream now. I don't even remember every single detail, but I just knew that something had to change and I had to do something, especially now, because, you know, all right, I could do it in 20 years time, but it just now seemed the right time to make that change, you know, to do something for myself rather than working for somebody else. So yes. It
is a really lovely story. And how do you find running this business?
Okay, so I've gone through different sort of, let's say, eras. I know I've only been doing it since September, but I've gone from setting the systems are brilliant. That's the main thing, because, for instance, I'll get a booking and I won't even know it's come through sometimes because, you know, if my phone's on silent or whatever, and my automated message has gone straight out to say, "Thank you very much for booking, here's all your details," etc., etc. Now, those systems, without you guys, as you know, I could not have worked out to do. So that the guiding of knowing what system to use and how to use it, how to set it up, get it in place, that is invaluable for me, because that was the whole academy. It's like going to school, you know, because it's all right, you know, I might be older, but I've not done anything like this before, so I you know, I don't know things like this. So setting up those systems was really good, and once you know how to do them, they're brilliant. At that time, I had a cleaning company doing the cleans, but as it turns out now, I've started doing the changeovers, which is really good actually, because it's giving me that experience of knowing how long these things take, different things, sort of like more of a property management kind of look at it, checking that the property's always okay. So yeah, that's sort of me at the moment running this.
Do you know what as well? Like I put a lot of emphasis on systems and automations and all this, and I'm like, you know, get it all sorted so that you don't have to and you get time freedom. But and we were just talking in the kitchen just then before we jumped onto the camera, and you know, the fact that you're really passionate about this and it's now just your full-time thing. Yeah. And I just find that so lovely. You don't have to have it set up like what we talk about all the time with having it fully automated. If you want to be involved and you want this to be your baby, your passion project, you absolutely can do. And it looks like you're loving it as well. It looks like you're loving it.
I must admit I am. And I think that's the thing. I think if I still had my job, then I would probably run it more like a hands-off building up, which is great. And I will, and I do want to build this up. But at the moment, in my sort of, just my personal circumstance, I've decided that I actually want to a bit more hands-on and do this and run it. And it is the first one, and it is like my little baby project. And again, doing it, I'm going to learn so much for when I do do scale up, and all the lessons that I've learned doing this one will help me sort of like go on. And also you get an understanding of how hard work it is for the cleaners and how easy it is to miss things and things like that. So you get more of an understanding of people who you are going to be working with in the future, and what to expect of them and what not to expect of them, and also what to kind of teach them sometimes, because not everybody automatically knows what you're wanting.
Definitely. How do you feel like it's changed you as a person over the last nearly 12 months that you've been doing it?
I think I've become more open to opportunities and less, what's the word? I didn't trust things as much in the past. It was always like, oh, well, other people can do it, that's fine, but that's not going to work for me. Whereas I'm more open to things. I understand now that anybody, it sounds really bad, anybody can do this, but they literally can. They can. You can learn. You don't have to. I've always been, even when going for job interviews, if I don't know 90% of that job profile, I probably won't go for it, because I think I have to know everything before I go for something, but you don't at all. And I think this is the thing that's taught me that it's better just to have a go with no experience and just give it a go, rather than sit there. I could have sat there for another 5 years researching and I'd still be sat there now. I wouldn't have done it. So I think take chances. That's not silly chances. You've got to be, not risks that are
calculated risks.
That's it. That's the word. That's the corporate word.
We don't know that word anymore.
No, and more relaxed. I think business, it's not easy, and it is stressful. And anybody who tells you that it isn't is probably sugarcoating it. But it's your business, and when you're there working a few hours, 10 hours, whatever you want to put into it, it's up to you. If you want to have your lunch, you can have your lunch. If you don't, and you want to keep working, that's fine. So I like that, me being in control rather than having a schedule, somebody else's schedule. So
Amazing. I need to go into this because you just told us such an amazing story. So you started this business a year ago, and then your daughter, who is 23?
Yes, our youngest daughter,
She was going down the route where she was an apprentice hairdresser. Talk us through what you just told me, because I think everyone needs to hear this, of how your mindset has shifted so much in such a short period of time.
So our daughters are in their 20s, and we've always encouraged them to get a job. You need a job, you need security, you need this, you need that. And I've always been a bit of a mindset of not scared, that's the wrong word, but very cautious mindset of everything, and setting up businesses, things like that. I've not done anything like that, because you see it as risky, because you do, a lot of businesses fail. It's a fact. So things like that, I've been more on the cautious side. Anyway, she was wanting to set up her own salon, and we'd set this up in last year, obviously the back end of last year, and she was wanting to look at properties in December. And I kind of remember thinking, the old me would have been like, oh, not yet, you'll be fine, just keep working for someone else, and there's your security, you'll be okay.
Especially as a mum.
Exactly, because you just want them to be okay and to be safe and to be fine. And my mindset was just like, let's do it. Go on. Let's look at these properties. Why not? Why can you not set up a business at 23? Of course you can. There's no reason why you can't. So we looked at properties, and then by January we'd signed another lease for my daughter to set up her salon. And because obviously, children always look and go, what do you think? Because you always, you do generally, you ask your parents what you think. And I think the old me would have been like, I don't know if it's the right time. It's never the right time, is it? You just have to do it. So the old me would have definitely probably been cautious, and the new me, who would kind of, like I said to you, I kind of set this business up almost in a dream-like state. I can't even, it just happened. I don't even remember what I did, because I was working and doing it. So it just happened. So I think that gave me the confidence to just say to my daughter, look, just let's do it. Why not sign a lease? You're absolutely fine. It's not scary, because of course it was my daughter signing that lease. So I would have been like, oh no, I don't know how this is going to work. But because I'd just done it and it was absolutely fine, I was like, there's nothing to be worried about. Go sign it, start your business. And she's got a salon open this February just gone. So she's got her business going now. So
unbelievable.
And I think because a lot of it is like that generational thing, passing down like a bit of fear, whereas that seems to have, I'm not silly, I'm not going to just suddenly do random things, but that fear seems to have gone now. I'm willing to take more risks, and hopefully hopefully that's passing down now.
And I'm sure it will, absolutely. So what is the future at this point here? Where do you want to take this business? What do you you envision this business becoming?
Yeah, so at the moment, as you know, I'm cleaning it, I'm property managing it, and I'm doing it. And we are coming up to a year. And I know now that although I'm enjoying it and I am really passionate about it, and I think this property will always be my thing. I'll probably still be cleaning it in 20 years, no doubt, because it is just it's the first one. But I know that because it is starting to make money, it is making money, that why not do it again? Because it just makes sense. And I realise I'm going to have to start being a bit more hands off, because whilst I've got automated messages in place, I'm still there, messaging again. But I will start to be a bit more getting a team together to sort of like build it up. But what I know for sure is that I'm going to definitely do it again. And the fact of ringing up to speak to a landlord or the estate agent or whatever, actually I feel so confident because I've done it. So it's such a contrast from that first phone call where I didn't believe in myself. I felt like a fraud, if I'm honest, because it was like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm literally just going for it. And now I know for a fact that it's working. The landlord is brilliant. He's just so happy with how this is run, because he knows his property's looked after. It's regularly maintained, it's regularly cleaned. He's just more than happy with how it's going. So I know that can benefit other landlords now. So it's giving me that bit of confidence.
Just that one landlord, it might not even be a case that you need to get back onto the phone and start trying to find other people, because he's got multiple properties. He's got a portfolio, right? So there's opportunity there just with that same landlord.
And he has said he will, when any of his others come up for sort of like the end of the leases, he's getting in contact. So it might happen. So I might not have to ring anyone.
First property you found, first call you did, and now that could grow your portfolio. That'd be insane.
It's really strange as well, because I don't know if this makes any sense, but it doesn't feel like business. It feels like just having a chat with somebody and it being not luck, but just right, you do a good job and then somebody's like, right, I want to speak to you again, kind of thing. So and it is enjoyable. It's a route that I wasn't even on Airbnb. I've never stayed in an Airbnb ever. So again, that was all learning. So I was like, what do you need in an Airbnb?
It's not even been on the guest point of view, and you've got your own Airbnb.
So I didn't even know what I should provide.
That's got to be a first.
That's also a first. You're doing a fantastic job, even walking around. Like, you've thought of everything. Like, your reviews speak volumes. You've got all 5-star, guest favourite. So you're doing a good job to say you've not even stayed in one before.
No, I'm really pleased with the reviews as well. That gives me a boost. I just get so excited, and I think actually that's why I probably, even though I've said I know we'll scale it, because this has to be my job now, because I'm not going back to work for somebody else, even though I can. I'm not going to. This is where I'm going. And whilst there will be ones that I will have to be hands off with, I like the hosting side of it, and I like it when a guest messages me and says, that was so lovely, thank you so much, whether it's a welcome pack or it's a nice message, or whether it's Christmas and it's decorated and they like that. I left Christmas presents for our Christmas guests and things like that. Just felt like Santa running in and popping them in. But things like that, I like making people happy. So I think even if it scales up to like you guys with multiple properties, I probably still will want to be bobbing in and doing those nice little extra touches, because I like to make the guests happy, and I love it when I get these 5-star reviews, which is really good.
It's so funny because we speak to other mentees and like when you get notification of a booking and you're looking at the money, and whereas you're like 5-star.
I know. That's it. I have to remember to try and make some money there.
You just enjoy it too much.
I do. I really enjoy it, and that's the thing. It doesn't. Yes, it is. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not hard work, because it is. But
there's aspects to it.
There are aspects. There are things. But then there's sometimes when you've got a guest in for a week and you're not doing anything. They're in, and that's it. You've not got that. You're not doing anything at all, because they're in, they're happy, and they're enjoying the stay. So, but I do, and I always like to look for something to add to the Airbnb as well. Sort of extra bits and bobs, and think, I wonder if they'll like this, and pop that in. So I definitely I like the hosting side of it as well as the business. So and also I'm not particularly business minded, so anyone who thinks they're not, they can do it, because I'm not. I'm managing.
And you've done an amazing job. So
Final question. You said something really interesting a moment ago, and it was like, I could have easily just waited another 5 years before I did.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many people that do think like that. what would you say to the person that is sat on the fence right now thinking, I need to make a change to my life, but they are scared, they don't know, they feel like they need to know everything? What would you say to that person about getting started?
Yeah, I just say, it sounds really cliche, just do it, only because I can hand on heart sit here and say I couldn't have done it on my own. Yes, I could have researched. Yes, I could have, you know, even to the point of setting up a company and things like that. Yeah, I could have, but it probably would have taken me my time. I might not have done it right, but it was like, well, you are mentors. It was having that guidance that I knew whatever I did, you were on the end of a phone call, you know, a laptop, whatever. So I wouldn't, if it wasn't you two, I'd probably say don't do it. But because it's you two, I would say to anyone who gets in contact with you two, just do it, because they're real people as well. And I think it might be because you were from, like, it came up as like a Yorkshire thing, and I was like, oh, I can trust someone from Yorkshire. Right, that's fine. I'll do it. But yeah, it's the fact of just having someone not necessarily holding your hand, but people who've done it before, and you have done it before, and it's worked. So there was, again, there's a risk in everything. Obviously there is, but when you see something that works, why would it not work for anybody else? Why could it not work for me? And again, that's your mindset again, isn't it? Because that was my mindset. Oh, well, yeah, okay, other people can do it, but it won't be for me. Whereas now it's like, well, yeah, I can do it, and I have done it, and it'll carry on. But you know, I really do thank you too, because you were just so easy to get along with and help, and always there to just, when I'm panicking. I mean, I remember ringing when I couldn't use the systems and I couldn't share my screen and things like that. So yeah, anyone who can't share a screen, don't worry, you can still run an Airbnb. It's absolutely fine. You can still run a business. You just can't share a screen. But yeah, just every step of the way. Like, I remember sending the contract over and just screenshotting and things coming through from company's house. Was it a real letter? Was it not a real letter? Sending that to you. Is that real? Do I need to pay that or whatever? And things like that. So it's having that guidance, and that for me is why I did it, and why other people would be fine doing it with you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Really,
I think it's quite crazy as well, because this is where we started our business in Haworth.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So it's like a full circle moment.
180,
so lovely.
Yeah.
And seeing that you're doing so well here, and you'll be expanding here, is just like, oh, it is like a full circle moment, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it is lovely. It's Haworth as well, isn't it? It's a lovely place, lovely little village. It's lovely. It is. Really nice.
So thank you very much, Michelle, for inviting us down and checking this place out. And yeah, we'll leave it there.